This one, the square root of 8 breaks up as 2 square root of 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 12 breaks up as 4 and 3. 12 square root of 3. Square root of 48 breaks up as 16 and 3. You should end up with 40 square root of 3. Pick a number from 1 to 20. Winning numbers today are 7, 9, 10, 13, 18. Alright, today's objective is to simplify radical expressions. And we'll build on the review we started yesterday. You'll have a test on Friday. Flashcard. Say the answer out loud when you know it. 2 square root of 2. 2 square root of 3. 3 square root of 2. 2 square root of 6. 4 square root of 2. 4 square root of 3. 2 square root of 15. 6 square root of 2. It breaks up as 36 and 2. Two square root of 11. 24 square root of 3. Here's example 1. If I have 2 square root of 2 on top and a square root of 3 on the bottom, I have to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 3 from the bottom. On the top, that should give me 2 square root of 6. On the bottom, square root of 3 times itself is 3. Check this expression, can't be simplified. Check this fraction, can't be simplified. Therefore, you're finished. That is the final answer. Example 2. 4 square root of 8 over 2 square root of 4. I could multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 4. If I did that, I'd be wasting my time, because 1 square root of 4 is going to be a perfect square. 4 is a perfect square, so you could get 2 out of it. But you could also divide not only the 4 over 2 and just having 2 on top, but 8 divided by 4. You can divide square roots and come up with 2 square root of 2. You would be finished. If you multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 4 and then continue on, you're going to be doing 10, 12 times the amount of work it takes to solve the problem. Square roots can be divided. Square root of 12 over square root of 3 is what? Which is 2. So don't multiply top and bottom on anything like that. Try this one. Bring this one up. On the practice problem, you can simplify by dividing this by this to come up with the square root of 2, and you're finished. Bring up this bonus if you're finished with the practice. On the bonus problem, you can do this. That gives you a square root of 6, and if you multiply this by this, you have a 6, and then the square root of 4 is 2. So it's 12 square root of 5. Here's another bonus. On this, you can multiply this, this, and this against this and come up with 24 and just be left with square root of 3 beside it. Here's another bonus. Answer on the bonus is 6. You can simplify this before you do any multiplication. 8 over 4 is 2, and then square root of 12 over square root of 8 is going to be the same thing as square root of 3 over square root of 2. You can divide both by 4. Now you can multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2 to get 2 square root of 6 over 2. The 2's cancel out, so it's only square root of 6. Try this bonus if you're finished with the practice. You can multiply 2 times 3 times 3 to get 18. If they're square roots, then you're just going to be left with 18. And then these two multiplied together will be 2. So your answer is 36. Eight is the same thing as 4 times 2. So that's going to leave you with an 8. And then square root of 2. If you do this times this, you'll get 3. This is just a 2. It's not a square root. So you'll have 6 square root of 2. This one breaks up as 4 and 3. 3 times 2 square root of 3 is 6 square root of 3. Alright, this one breaks up as simply 5. That's a perfect square for 25. 5 times 5 is 25. This one breaks up as square root of 16, square root of 2. So 6 times 4 is 24. 24 square root of 2. This one breaks up as 16 and 3. So 12 times 4 would give me 48. 48 square root of 3. Here's example number 3. 5 square root of 2 over 25 square root of 6. Simplify as much as you can before you work the problem out. 5 over 25 is 1 over 25, or 1 over 5. You can still simplify again. Square root of 2 over square root of 6 is 1 over square root of 3. 5 over 25 is 1 over 5. Square root of 2 over square root of 6 is 1 over square root of 3. This goes into this 3 times. Into itself once, so it's gone. Now we have 1 over 5 square root of 3. We have to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 3 and come up with square root of 3 over 5 times 3. So your final answer is square root of 3 over 15. Example 4. Here you have 12 square root of 3 over 36 square root of 12. You can simplify the 12 over 36 and come up with 1 over 3. You can also simplify the square root of 3 over square root of 12. Square root of 3 goes into itself once and into the square root of 12 4 times. But now you have a perfect square on the bottom with 4. The square root of 4 is 2. So your final answer is 1 over 6. Practice 3. On this one, simplify 4 over 12 as 1 over 3 and square root of 8 over square root of 24 as 1 over square root of 3. Multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 3 to get square root of 3 over 3 times 3, which is square root of 3 over 9. On this problem, you cancel out the 3's, and square root of 6 over square root of 2 is square root of 3. On this problem, 4 over 2 cancels to 2, and square root of 12 over square root of 4 is square root of 3. 2 square root of 3 is the answer. Alright, on this one, 3 over 6 is 1 over 2, and square root of 6 over square root of 2 is square root of 3. On this problem, 12 over 4 is 3. Square root of 6 over square root of 2 is square root of 3. 3 square root of 3 is the answer. Everything cancels out, so the answer is 1. On this one, 16 over 12 reduces to 4 over 3, and square root of 24 over square root of 8 reduces to square root of 3. On this one, 12 over 12. That's a 2. 12 over 12 cancels out. So you're left with the square root of 2. Here you can simplify 24 over 8 to get a 3. Simplify these two to be square root of 3 over square root of 2. Multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2 to get 3 square root of 6 over 2. On the bonus here, the 12 over 24 cancels to 1 over 2. These cancel to square root of 2 over square root of 3. Multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 3 to get square root of 6 over 6. These create 3. This one breaks up as the square root of 16 square root of 2. So it is 4 square root of 2. This one turns out to be the square root of 16 square root of 3, so it's 4 square root of 3.